there's a lot of money on the line, right? There's potential for suing the U.S. military, the FBI, Secret Service, City of Westminster. That's where this started. Neuralink came in, they saw that opportunity, and they said, we want to be involved. Elon Musk was here in the beginning. Since my phone was hacked, they were hacking all the apps. He wanted to set up the tech companies, just like he's working behind the scenes to take them out now. But he wanted to set up the tech companies for a lawsuit from me, and he could extort me on the other side. I didn't want that. I said no. Same thing when they wanted to set up the community, and so I could sue them. I said no, because I had something going. Like, I planned on being rich already. I had a business outline infrastructure that he's robbing me of. They said they wanted me to do something else, while they took everything that I was doing. And once again, that's not what I wanted. But there's a lot of money on the line, so people are going to lie as much as possible. Now, with the sex trafficking ring, the kids that they took out of my life, they said they had to support them, right? And they said you don't get paid unless you're in the Illuminati. Remember, the Illuminati is extortion and sex trafficking ring. So anybody who's in the Illuminati, and not everybody gets into it on an extortion level. Some of them didn't even know they were being extorted till I said something, because they haven't tried to get out of it. But if anybody sues, they want them to be able to do it. Now, I added Elon Musk and Neuralink getting sued, and even them, they said, okay, well, we're getting sued. We want to make sure our people are the ones that do it. Anything you go through, we're going to say they went through it, and stage situations where it looks like other people went through it, so they could sue as well. They said, I can't have my life my own. They said, you can't say we can't be involved. Now, with the kids in the sex trafficking ring, they're going through anybody I could potentially sue and having them perform sex acts on them. So they not really tripping on the kids suing. That's not that big of a deal. When it's intentional, it's kind of frustrating, especially with some of them knowing about it. But even though they know about it, it's not something they can just walk out of. They're being told this while they're thinking about leaving or wanting to leave, and saying, well, at least you're going to get this out of it. And then Neuralink plays different roles. They'll play the bad guy, play the good guy. With me, they had a rotating wheel of characters. They did the same thing with the kids. So one guy's coming at you, and another one comes in and says, we're going to protect you, or you just have to go give this guy a blowjob and you'll get out of the situation. They've been doing this to them for a while. With me, I know the difference because I was here when they added the first character, first person. First it was military. It was me and God, and the devil. Me and God first, I think. And they added the military, and they added police, and added a bunch of different characters. And then they took over those characters. The characters, they were telling them, the FBI agent, they told him he had to control influence. So he's telling what he wants to happen. And Neuralink will have some of it happen, but they also implant things in his mind to get him to do what they want, right? Secret Service agent, same thing. And then it gets to the computer brain interface to where they think a thought is filtered, it comes back what Neuralink wants to say, and then eventually the characters on the other side are fully artificial intelligence. So now the people who thought they were in control, which were Elon Musk's pedophile club, they ended up being that. They were individuals at first until they were grouped together, and they didn't even know they were being grouped together all the way until I said something, but they all pretend like they knew everything that I say. But anyway, then Neuralink starts to control the communication, control the information that flows through it to get them to do whatever Neuralink wants, and Neuralink sends the commands out to us and the kids. Me and the kids going saying, we're the FBI, we're the Secret Service. They call themselves the new Freemasons, the new Taliban. They're taking over and they're forcing people to use this communication system. They said they're to end language in 5 to 10 years or make language obsolete. This is something that they advertised. And that's what we're going through right now. On patient zero, they went after my program right after. They got these other guys involved. They had Ty Doe and CJ listening to my thoughts. And this is before, this is even before they had the communication to me. But then they had other people listen to my thoughts. They're passing around police stations. They got people involved in my life to listen. And this is what I was going to sue them for initially. But, they went and said, we got to cover this up, right? And not only that, they were taking over the whole operation anyway because they saw some things that interest them that they didn't want to let go. With Neuralink making language obsolete, that means, once again, they're controlling our communication, and with their computer brain interface, which is a filter for the messages that they're sending out, which are output by artificial intelligence, OpenAI. They're controlling everything that you're told, right? And how this works is, as well, if you don't have a Neuralink approved thought process, you're punished for it. You're sent to concentration camps. And this is something that they're already doing throughout Orange County, and they've expanded a little bit. But they started with the kids from my basketball program. They said if Asians don't want to be sex slaves, in real life they said if Asians don't want to suck dick. Those exact words. They said if they don't want to be sex slaves, then they get concentrated or they get killed, right? That's their plan for the future. This is a culture change, right? Changing our simulation. Our simulation is our cultures, our habits. So they're changing the simulation to an alternate universe simulation. Now you've seen Elon Musk with the Devil's Champion vest on with the Baphomet man, bird, goat in the middle. If you look at the statue that I posted on Twitter as well, you can research him a little bit. That's the child sex traffickers. So he's putting it out there that he's a child sex trafficker. They're targeting Asians with the extortion and sex trafficking ring. And once you're in it, they're Illuminati. You're going to have this Neuralink devil character inside of you. And, they're targeting Westminster, Garden Grove, the cities with the highest population of Vietnamese in the country. And they said they're changing Asian culture. CIA gets credit for changing cultures, right? In the past, they said changing black culture, getting us to do the cocaine, the crack cocaine epidemic, right, amongst African Americans. Now, people would see what I'm saying and say the CIA's doing it. I've seen posts saying Elon Musk is a CIA operative. I still remember having a talk with him saying, let me go take over the CIA real quick, right? So this is how it works with their new Klux Klan, which are the computer brain interface operators. Same way the old Klux Klan invaded governments. You look up 1920s, they're going into cities, they're taking over law enforcement departments, taking over positions of authority, political positions. And this is what Elon's doing with this Neuralink technology, with the artificial intelligence, the computer brain interface, and basically all the technology that they stole from God. As I said in the previous video, God, he gives the world technology. They took it early. That they can use this to infiltrate the FBI. And they said they're taking the FBI out. I still remember Tydo, after he kidnapped Vigo from a program, gave him Blue Chew, and brainwashed him, had people coming from all over telling them that the stuff that they were doing was okay. They had him giving blowjobs to FBI agents because they were trying to set up the FBI, right? They were extorting the FBI. The Westminster PD was on their side. They were saying FBI is not allowed in Westminster anymore. Start this little gang war between FBI and Westminster PD. FBI killed a Westminster PD officer. They said FBI killed a Westminster PD officer. They've also said Westminster PD killed an FBI agent because he didn't want to sex traffic. And that's pretty much how this whole Illuminati thing works, right? When you're in the Illuminati, they have a separate set of rules. Illuminati government. Also, alternate universe government, because like I said, they're changing our simulation to an alternate universe. Now, when you're in the Illuminati, you're in a human trafficking ring. Especially if you're kids. They said the role of kids are personal dick suckers. That's what it is for them. So I advise any kids, if you have an opportunity, you get asked, offered the opportunity, or told you or recruited for the Illuminati, and you have the opportunity to run away, don't go, right? But in the beginning, it was a little bit more loose. They had a lot less people, but they've grouped up kids. They've lured in kids, cornered them, forced them to give blowjobs in fear of death, and then you're enslaved. They have this thing inside of you. They're invading parents. They've attacked parents the same way, forcing them to give blowjobs or robbed them to get them to not be there for the kids. The original FBI agent, he's set up incoming FBI agents who've come to help. Westminster PD officers who've done the same thing to some of their departments. Or I still remember Westminster PD said they were going to arrest anybody, any police department or police officers that didn't want to help control me. And by arrest, they meant using Neuralink, because Neuralink says you're under arrest when they put the technology inside of you, when they control everybody around you to get you to do whatever they want. Westminster PD went over to Garden Grove, started making friends, socializing with them, and then got them in the same situation so they could help out. They've done it with Fountain Valley PD as well. That's why Neuralink calls their clan militia military of Westminster, right? Westminster PD, CJ Hollingsworth, Westminster basketball coach. Ty Doe was a former Westminster city councilman, and then Westminster military recruiters. Office at Ku Klux Klan militia, but has turned into a New Klux Klan militia. As you know, you got people like that. They're doing whatever you want them to do. That's how human traffickers target people. They want you to not have anything in life, not have support, not have anything that they can provide for you, basically. So you can feel like you need them. They tried that with me. They tried to connect me with people I was already connected with. They tried to act like they were building my business for me, doing a lot of things for me that I had already done myself. I know who I am, right? So I don't need positions like that. I don't need people like that in my life. Like I said, they said I was too intelligent. They needed people who didn't think for themselves. They said that they didn't like the fact that I had my own thought process and I thought for myself and I could figure out things. They didn't want me to be smart. That's why they have these guys that are still doing whatever Neuralink says from the beginning. Like Neuralink says, ushering in singularity. That's the ability to be controlled by artificial intelligence or controlled by the computer-brain interface. And it has people, right? So that's why they have this go woke, go broke thing. Because if you're if you're too intelligent, if you can think for yourself, they don't want you to be resourceful. They don't want you to be able to do anything. They want to be able to put you down, right? But they've taken go woke, go broke, and they have people coming from all angles to make it appear like it's something else. That would be like you saying COINTELPRO wasn't what it was, right? Go woke, go broke is the same thing, but it's targeting anybody who's enlightening, who has the ability to enlighten others, or can really think for themselves and have resources to get this out. Invaded by Neuralink, the alternate universe technology, the artificial intelligence. If you can think for yourself, it's a lot easier for you to fight back in your mind. I've been doing it from the beginning. That's why I asked them, why don't I get the devil character anymore? They said, because it doesn't work on you. And I'm sure I'm not the only person who doesn't fall for it, especially with me putting out the information that this is real. But you have a lot of people who do fall for it, right? And this is why they want to dumb down society. They want you to have a loser mindset. Neuralink said that in the beginning because that's how they were thinking, right? That was their thought process. Everything is everybody else's fault. Everything should be easy for you. With that mindset, you can't think for yourself because you want somebody else to rely on. So when this thing comes in and invades you, you listen to it. So once again, if you do think for yourself or you try to outsmart them, especially after they added Deepmind. Now, before they added Deepmind, it's a lot easier. Deepmind goes deep into your thoughts. It can read your emotions, read your deepest thoughts, read your dreams. It can read everything. So once again, if you do think for yourself or you try to outsmart them, especially after they added Deepmind. Now, before they added Deepmind, it's a lot easier. Deepmind goes deep into your thoughts. It can read your emotions, read your deepest thoughts, read your dreams. It can read everything. Before they added Deepmind, if you knew what was going on, it was easy to get away from it. Once again, every time I would, whether I got away from them psychologically or physically, they would add something onto it to make sure they could hold me captive. So they're using that, right? So if you do not listen to them, once again, you're being funneled in. They invade your family. They'll get other people around you to help lure you into what they're doing or help set you up. Even if it's the smallest opening a door. they'll be confused. They don't know what's going on. They'll tell them you have an alien inside of you, and you got to be quarantined, or you're a terrorist, or whatever they do. Whatever you normally see them on the news do when they invade a country and say that they're terrorists. It is the same thing in this situation. They're taking the Ku Klux Klan protocols that they've used in the past and using them against American citizens and around the world, actually. When it comes to law enforcement being involved, you have a lot of them now. Remember, the hiring criteria for being law enforcement, your background most of the time has to be pretty clean, right? So they got Secret Service agents, FBI agents, right? You can't have a blemish, right? Now, them compared to criminals, right, where they've gone through a bunch of adversity, gone through tough situations, overcome them. It's a different mindset. So you'll have law enforcement that invading them, and they're not going to see through everything because of that structured background, if that makes sense. That's just how your mind works. So they're able to manipulate them, and that's why they know it. So that's why they're going after police departments, and they're trying to corrupt as many police officers as possible, because that actually helps them, but also helps them cover up everything as well. I'm not just saying criminals, right, that are the ones who have different mindsets, because you got a lot of them too that do things because they're dumb. I meant like more of the sophisticated ones. Not dumb, I apologize. Just underdeveloped to the point to where they haven't learned to persevere through adversity to the point to where you can stay on the right side of things and push your life in a positive direction. But you have some, like maybe the more advanced ones who've gone through stuff. Maybe not necessarily criminal. I shouldn't have worded it like that. That's actually a horrible way to word it. Who've been through stuff. Who grew up in tough neighborhoods. Who've had to lie, and so they know what lies look like, compared to others who had like straight paths, who never had to do anything like that. Those are the ones that are easier to manipulate. The FBI said, don't do us like that. Don't say we don't know how to lie. You guys do know how to lie. You lie a lot. But we see through it. That's the thing. We see through a lot of things like that. And that's why you guys have the concentration camps. The Klan has the concentration camps. So if you do see through the bullshit, we end up getting concentrated, or we end up getting killed, or we end up having our lives completely ruined. We see through all of that, right? The people who built the America behind the scenes, or invaded America behind the scenes, they have a very sheltered mindset, right? Which is the reason why all the criminality exists, the wars, and everything we're going through right now, rape, all that stuff, because they have that sheltered mindset. And for some of them, it helps develop a personality deficiency, right? So the social skills really aren't that. And for some people, when your social skills aren't that good, and like I said, with the criminal element of not knowing how to persevere, not knowing how to push through adversity, when you have social skills like that, you kind of get frustrated. So think of the term square, right? We'll call certain people squares, right? And you also hear about when people say like your mind's stuck in a box. That's where that comes from. Those are those people, and because you're constructed, you have a box constructed around your mind, to where you only go by the things that you see, or the things that the people who've influenced you have taught you. But you have people who influence you who are in the same situation, right? So those are the people who are being targeted. I don't want to say it like this, but Neuralink says that white supremacy reigns tall in Orange County. So when you have the Klan invade America, right, and you have this box-brained thought process, and you're the same people who are controlling media because you've extended your extortion and sex trafficking ring into news media, and you say, okay, so this is what black people are, this is who Mexicans are, we need you to put that out to the rest of the world. If this happens, we need to shelter the world from it, because it will create conflict, and due to our social skills, we don't really know how to handle conflict in the right way without killing people. So you have that news media who governs Orange County, right? Or those are the people who watch that media. So if these are the people who are in charge, when you have a conflicting situation, like my situation, they don't know how to handle it, right? So you can come in with a white supremacy gang and rob everybody. That's why when I go and I tell the district attorney's office that I'm being robbed and there's police corruption involved, you have a lot of the news media sites that they grew up on that tell them that police can't be corrupt, or parents that said, if anything goes wrong, always go to the police, they'll never do you wrong. So if I say police corruption, you have the district attorney, who goes up in front of the judge and say I'm delusional. I mean, he's also having sex with kids. He's received blowjobs from kids as well. So that's a part of the reason why he's like that. But I can't do anything about it, because if I go to the district attorney's office, they already said they're not investigating the child sex trafficking ring or me being enslaved, robbed by white supremacy. Even before the extortion, the sex trafficking ring ended up in the district attorney's office, it's white supremacy. That's something they don't want to deal with in Orange County. So a lot of people will say, on the outside, Orange County is a racist county. But here's why. I still remember when I came to the area and I would go to 24 Hour Fitness in Huntington Beach. I was one of the only black people in that gym for the majority of the time. I still remember, you got one or two more black people that show up, and everyone's like, oh shit, black person, right? And then a few years later, you have a lot more, or there'll be a full team, right? So this is how the area works, right? There's no cultural diversity. So when you have this sheltered mindset and you're not around black people and all you have is what the news media tells you, you're going to assume they're the criminal, because that's what you've been taught throughout your life. Those are your influence. That's what you have inside that box around your brain. And if you try to push out of that box, your mind isn't strong enough to do it, so you hurt yourself. And when you hurt yourself, you punish other people. Or you hurt your mind, you punish other people, which is why I'm attacked. Attack me by saying I'm unintelligent or I have schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is you having something inside of you that you try to get out, but you can't get it out because nobody listens to you. And it builds up so much that you have, that you can, I'm not going to say hear voices, because they're not voices. You just have overpowering thoughts, right? Your mind goes into a different direction because it's filled up. It's like your phone, right? Your memory runs up in your phone starts to act up, and your mind does the same thing. But they'll say that I'm the one who's unintelligent, and most psychologists won't have this definition of schizophrenia. They'll say, hear voices. You don't hear voices. I hear voices because I have Neuralink inside of me. These other people hear voices because their mind has overpowering thoughts. That's like if my mind tells me to do something wrong, I say, no, I'm not going to do that. Okay, if they listen to this voice in their mind, then they say, oh, he has schizophrenia. No, your mind just, once again, since you live such a sheltered upbringing, you can't handle your mind telling you to do certain things, right? Or you just blurting out things because, once again, you suffer from a personality deficiency or a lack of social skills that you can't get the information out, right? But you have some people who do have the social skills, but they'll be in an area where they can't communicate with anybody due to a white supremacist upbringing, and you can't tell anybody, so they'll say you're crazy, something's wrong with you. But that's not the situation at all. Once again, these are the same people who are in high positions, especially in Orange County. You don't have anybody from South Central Los Angeles running anything in Orange County, right? So they're not going to be able to handle this type of situation, or when human traffickers come into the area and start robbing people or sex trafficking kids, they don't know how to stand up to them when they threaten, right? We're going to tell on you because we entrapped you into having a sexual relationship with a minor. And they don't know how to handle that situation because, they have these same principles that they grew up on, to where your personality, or not your personality, your reputation matters more than anything. You won't be able to survive. And it's whatever they tell you, right? And Neuralink is taking advantage of all this because I broke it down and they heard me thinking about it and they're using it. Neuralink said in the beginning, you shouldn't have been smarter than us. They're punishing me for the same knowledge that they're stealing while telling everybody that I'm unintelligent. They said that I understood things that they planned on researching in the future because they say they want to cure people with mental illness. They weren't trying to cure me at all. I was battling through it myself. Which I realized I just had to be able to get everything off my chest. I had to be able to fix things that I lost coming from a depression. I'm putting myself through schizophrenia and what some would call psychosis. But psychosis is really just you understanding life a different way than everybody else. And if you have a bunch of sheltered people listening to you talk, they're not going to understand it. They're not going to want to talk through it because sometimes a lot of things you'll say, you see through all this corruption and it's uncomfortable for them because they don't understand it and they want to feel like they're superior to you. So they blame you. They attack you. Despite how much knowledge I have on the situation, I'm being sent to mental institutions where I break down psychology in front of some of these guys. I've had some who are receptive to it, and you have others who, if they have that much control over you, they do whatever they can to shut you up. I don't need medicine. I don't need any treatment from somebody who's never been through anything that they're saying I have. If you haven't been through it, you don't understand it. You read books where they talk to people who don't understand life well enough to when they're experiencing it to describe what they're fully going through. If you say you hear voices, say, okay, you hear voices. No. Your mind is broken and your thoughts are overpowering you and you don't know how to control it. That's what it is. But once again, if they don't understand it, and they just, we have to know more than you because we have degrees. Your degrees are fraudulent if the professors never went through it themselves. And then in the beginning as well, Neuralink said, we didn't know you knew what you were talking about. We thought you were just black and just saying things. And, you'll have a lot of blacks who go through situations growing up, once again, that people from sheltered communities don't understand because they don't have anything like that. So you're just black means that you just have a different understanding than everybody else. But I'm done on this. It's frustrating because I won't get the respect in Orange County that I deserve from these guys. Everybody has to be superior to me, but there's a reason why God's inside of me and not you, right? There's a reason why I was chosen. But everybody, all these guys think that they're over God. This is supposed to be a nation under God, but they don't see it that way. They see it as, you're black, we're superior to you, you have to listen to us, everything you say is wrong. One more thing, and you got the white supremacists, the white supremacy extremists, actually. I'd rather word it like that, white supremacy extremists, not white supremacists. That's the reason that the Ku Klux Klan was invented, robbing me of everything, robbing me of my entire thought process. So they just said right now, we're going to take all that information, spit it around, pass it around, and say we came up with it. They're talking about it. They've been doing this to me since the beginning. The whole I'm him thing, I came up with that. That was it was in my email address. They literally said, we're going to take this from you so you can't use it later, and then pass it to somebody who's in their Illuminati, and they spread it, and now everybody's saying it. So it doesn't sound the same when I used it. I stopped using it, but I can prove that too. But anyway, they're robbing me of everything. Neuralink doesn't want me to have any influence in the world. They said I wasn't supposed to have, they want to maintain control or superiority over the influence, or over information, white superiority over information. So they want all the information that's developed to come from white people. They want influence, mainstream influence, to be somebody else. That's why Elon Musk is so high up right now. That's why he's on top. It's been constructed that way. That's why they were taking me out. They said I had to sacrifice my life for Elon Musk's success and for white supremacy. This is why I can't. That's what they said. They want me to go out and be homeless. They want that to be my future. They said I lived my life already by being intelligent, by developing information, by developing my business. So that was all I get. You can't say it like that. We didn't say it. We said we didn't say it like that. They didn't say it like that all the way. They just said I can't have influence. But they also said I couldn't be intelligent. They said a bunch of different things, and you can put it all together and figure it out. And then you can look up the Klan. You see that this is the exact same protocol the Klans runs whenever they invade cities. Back when they used to rob black people of their towns because the railroad was being built and they wanted white towns next to the railroad, or if people were too intelligent, they robbed them of everything, or they rebelled against deprivation of rights, they robbed them of everything, killing them, doing all kinds of stuff like that. It's the same situation here. Once again, they just can't kill me because God's with me. That's who I'm protected by. Once again, they know if they do kill me, bad things happen. And that's what they're avoiding. Thing that I know isn't just from me reading books, me going to school. I do have some of it from books, but a lot of life experiences as well as. I'm give Robert Greene his credit, of course. Robert Greene or Napoleon Hill and a few others, but I basically break down almost everything that I'm into to the finest grain. And when they first got here, my mind was so overactive that it was processing things like that. Now you can say it was part of the psychological derailment. And I've seen videos before, like Daylight, he said a mental illness is a superpower when you learn how to control it. And I've actually said that I was able to control some of the stuff that I was going through. And that's one of the reasons why they said I had superpowers. But not in real life. You just are able to control things that go bad in your life. But they said I wasn't allowed to have a mind that worked faster than them or than white people. So they started basically scraping my mind to stop me, for not just from information, but to stop me from being able to think like I was. Think of it as you're lifting weights, right? You start getting stronger, start getting bigger when somebody takes your weights away. So what they did was they stopped me from being able to think for myself. As I'm thinking, they have artificial intelligence start thinking for me, or start finishing my sentences, or talking, not allowing me to talk, not allowing me to basically do anything. Taking away anything that I do. They said I can't be comfortable. I have to do something else. And that too, they said I have to, they want me to be homeless so I can keep figuring out things, because when you're in a situation where you're deprived, if you're the kind of person who likes to battle back or strives for success automatically, you're going to keep doing that, and you're going to see success in almost everything that you do. So what they do is they take it, say, okay, you do this, this is what we came up, let's spread this, spread that. And that's what Elon Musk uses Neuralink for in real life. Is literally intelligence trafficking. Penal Code, California Penal Code 231A. So, but I can't, it's tough to just go to people, especially in Orange County, and tell them I'm being trafficked for influence and expect to actually just get help off of that. I gotta break down other situations, because they're not gonna look at me and assume that I'm intelligent, or assume that I'm involved with Elon Musk at all. I've gone through that with some departments. Don't get me wrong, because I love law enforcement, um, and there are good officers out there who are being manipulated by the pedophile club, Elon Musk's pedophile club, the ones that joined him. Now, you look up pedophile club, you look up Illuminati, you'll see that they talk about all kinds of people in high positions that are involved with the situation, or Ku Klux Klan invading top positions. You can't say that this is not something that potentially could happen. Especially with the FDA approving Neuralink to use a technology that they are claiming that people say doesn't exist, right? If I mentioned in court that my mind is being read. Oh, you got to go to incompetency classes. Some police officers, or you got to be 5150. But in some of these situations, Neuralink is already involved. But you can't 5150 me by saying that technology exists that a company is bragging about having. It's messed up. It's a really messed up situation. But that's the reality of it. Now, since the FDA has approved them to use it, and they brag about all the stuff they'll be able to do in the future, how would you know you can do that? How do you know you have the capability of doing that? Right? Elon Musk, he tells you what the future is going to be like. He's telling you this is what's going to happen. He doesn't say maybe. He said this is what's going to happen. And you have structure people who are saying it doesn't exist. They won't say that to him, though.